Okay, so here we have the first very short set of exercises connected with parts of speech, which is what I was just talking about in the previous video. As you can see, all you have to do is, in the first exercise at least, is to divide the different types of parts of speech into closed class and open class varieties. As you remember from what I was talking about earlier, closed class parts of speech are those which are more or less closed, to which we don't usually add anything. And open class parts of speech are those to which we frequently add new items. Okay, so some of these should be very, very easy. So if we look at nouns here, for instance, okay, it should be pretty obvious that nouns are going to come. We're going to have to. How are we going to do it? We have to do it in this way. Okay, nouns are going to be open class. Okay, purely because we create new nouns all the time. Okay, simple. Interjections, on the other hand, which you'll remember were all sorts of strange things like wow and yum and ugh, strange things like that. That's going to go over here in closed class because those are things which are generally understood by everybody, and we don't make up new ones. If we make up new ones, no one's going to know what we're talking about. Okay. So again, if we come to verbs, right, again, it should be quite obvious. Verbs must be open class. Okay. We make verbs from nouns. We come up with new verbs all the time. Lots of new verbs connected with the internet, for example, upload, download, all those kinds of things. Okay. Let's take next conjunctions. Conjunctions are a type of grammar word, right? So we've got words like and but, things like that. Clearly, they are not very often created as new things, so they will come over here in the closed class section. Okay. Pronouns, okay, obviously, are also grammar words, so they are also closed class, and we put them over here. Whereas adjectives, just like nouns and verbs, these are content words, words for which we can we find new uses, and sometimes we create completely new words, so that is an open class. If adjectives are open, and we can always form adverbs from adjectives, then obviously adverbs will also be open class, so they can come here. The last two categories are prepositions and determiners, which also we should see straight away are grammar words and therefore closed class with possibility for change, which I talked about earlier in the previous video. Okay, that should be very simple. Remembering that those terms open and closed are not absolute. We can't simply do anything we want with open class words because then no one would understand anything, but we can create new forms, and closed classes do change, but they must change slowly, otherwise everybody would get lost. Okay, we move on to the second exercise. It says here, give the part of speech for each of the underlined words in the sentences below. So if we look at these sentences, we have number one, is it right to say that right wrongs no man? Okay, which is a slightly odd sentence. As you can see, it's a question. That doesn't make any difference to our analysis of it at this stage. So the first word that's underlined is the word it. The word it you should recognize straight away as a pronoun. Okay, so that shouldn't be a problem. After that, we've got right, and then we have right again later on. And we'll see as we come to this, but it should be fairly obvious straight away that these are two different versions of the word right, or two different meanings of the word right. The word right used in two different ways, and that's rather the point of the exercise. Okay, so we can't say that the word right is this or that, because the word right can be used in different ways. So in the first one, is it right? When we say something is right, clearly this right is an adjective. We're describing something. So we're saying, can we describe this it as being right? So first right would be an adjective. Is it right to say that? Now when we use that after a verb in this way, this that is a conjunction. Okay? The word that can also be a pronoun or a determiner, but in this particular case it's a conjunction. So is it right to say that what? Right wrongs no man. Now you may not be familiar with the idea of wrong as a verb, but when we've got the construction right wrongs no man, then you should, well, this S on the end of wrong ought to be telling you that this is actually a verb, and that right is the subject of this verb, and right here is being used as a noun. Okay, so right wrongs no man means that the noun right, meaning the right, does no wrong to any man. Okay, so we've got it as a pronoun, right as an adjective, that is a conjunction, right is a noun, wrongs is a verb. Okay. In the second example, one cannot right all the wrongs in the world. Okay. So here we've got a modal verb can. So it should be clear that after a modal verb, we always have a lexical verb. So one cannot right. So right here is a verb. All the wrongs. So if we have the, what follows the is a determiner. So what follows the must be a noun. Okay. So wrongs here is a plural of wrong. It's the noun of something wrong. In, of course, is a preposition, and the in the world, as the is always a determiner before a noun. So we've got right as a verb, wrongs as a noun, in is a preposition, and the is a determiner. Okay. And finally, the last one, cure that cold with a drink of hot lemon before you go to bed. Right, we've got lots of words underlined here, so it takes a little bit of working out. Cure that cold. So this we're asking someone to do something here. So cure here is a verb, and then we've got the construction that cold. When we've got that cold, first of all we need to notice that cold is being used as a noun. We're not saying that somebody is cold, but we're talking about a cold, as in some virus that you might have. That cold tells us which cold it is we're talking about. So that here is being used as a determiner. Cold, as I just said, is a noun. With is a preposition. Okay, prepositions link noun phrases to the rest of the sentence. So you would expect this with to be followed by a noun phrase, and that's exactly what we've got. A drink of hot lemon. That's a noun phrase. Okay. So the A here, A is always a determiner. It's an article. Articles are determiners. Okay, drink, of course, drink can be a verb, but here is a drink, so it's clearly a noun. Okay. The word of is a preposition, always a preposition. Is what type of drink? It's a drink of hot lemon. Okay, and then we've got before you go to bed. Now the word before also can have various roles in a sentence, but here we've got do something before you do something else. So we've actually got two separate clauses here. Cure that cold with a drink of hot lemon, and you go to bed. Later on in the course we'll talk more about this complex sentence structures, but for the moment that's not so important. What's important is that before links two separate forms with two separate verbs, so it is a conjunction. Okay, sometimes before will fulfill other roles. You, we should know as a pronoun. Go, we should recognize as a verb. And then we've got to bed. So bed, of course, is a noun. And this noun is linked to the rest of the sentence by the preposition to. So we've got, to go through the whole sentence, cure, a verb, that, a determiner, cold, a noun, with, a preposition, a determiner, drink, a noun, of, preposition, before, conjunction, you, pronoun, go is a verb, to is a preposition, and bed is a noun. Okay, we will look at more of these next time. Have a good look. If you don't understand, you can always send me a question. But as I said, we will come back to more practice on parts of speech in the second lecture. Okay, for now, thank you very much.